Do you feel that minimum wage workers don't get paid enough? Well, that's what I'm here to back up. I'm here to persuade you guys that they don't get paid enough, and as a working teenager myself, I get pay a rate of $12, and I still feel like that's not enough. For example, if I was to go live by myself, or say something tragically happens to my parents, I would definitely not be able to support myself, and with $12, that's gonna get me nowhere. I'm gonna start off first with some of the issues, then I'm gonna go to some of the problems, and then the effects of an increase in minimum wage policy. First, I'm gonna start with the issues. Here's the question. Can a minimum wage actually increase employment? Well, yes, it can. The more people see that the minimum wage goes up, the more they're gonna wanna work, and it attracts more people. It also attracts the productivity of labor, and it's gonna make them want to work harder for their money. Some of the problems. Currently, there are 30 million Americans living on $5.50 an hour. That's the federal minimum wage. Now, when you hear that number, $5.50 an hour, you're already thinking that is a super low pay rate, and you're definitely not going to be able to provide for anyone, even yourself. For example, say if you work 10 hours, you get $50 around that. You need clothes, water, food, hygiene utensils. All those things definitely cost more than $50, and your paycheck is going to be gone right before your eyes, gone. And keep that in mind, 30 million Americans living on $5.50 an hour. That's actually really sad to see that a lot of those people are hard workers and don't get the opportunities that we get. That's definitely a problem, and it needs to be upped. And that's why I'm trying to persuade you guys that we should up the minimum wage. Another problem, full-time workers who earn $5.50 an hour, 40 hours a week, 52 weeks, earn an income below the poverty threshold. Now, if you guys don't know what poverty means, it means extremely poor. And I'm going to compare this to the food chain. So when there's a food chain, it's a triangle. We have the rich people, the middle class, and then the poor. Now, we want everyone in the middle class. Even if it's not being rich, you're still going to be in the middle class, able to provide for yourself and live a happy life. That's where we want everyone. And we have way too much people that are struggling to get on their feet and provide for themselves, and either end up homeless or even dead. That is a huge problem. Another thing, Democrats currently want a $150 increase in the minimum wage over 18 months. Now, that is just absurd. Like, $150 is definitely not enough. It should definitely be increased way more. I'm here to say that they should increase it by $3. $150 is going to be no type of change of increase, and it's definitely not going to get people in the poverty state up and going on their feet. Definitely not. Now I'm going to switch over to the effects of increase in the minimum wage policy. I'm going to start with the first one. The better workers you'll get. Now, when you hear $15 an hour to $18 an hour somewhere at your regular job, it automatically attracts you because you know that you're working to get a lot of money. When people see that, it's normally the better working people, the hard working people, and that's what you want for your business. You want to keep it a good, smooth business. And when you have good workers, the business goes smooth, right? There's gonna be no problems. Another example, the minimum wage reduces poverty. It's like common sense. If we up the minimum wage, the less the people in the food chain, right? Rich, medium class, poor. The less poor people they're gonna be, and it's gonna go up to the middle class. They're gonna end up going right in the middle. Another example, some people who work for a minimum wage never see an increase. Now, this is definitely a problem that we have in the US. A lot of people are treated unfairly because their skin color or the type of person they are, and you really can't control that. It's disgusting to hear, but those people that work hard for their money definitely deserve the respect and equality that everyone has. Everyone's equal. And for example, like my dad, he works really hard, goes early in the morning, 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock at night, comes out, hard worker, hard labor, and got a raise of $1, which is, I'm not gonna say it, but it's definitely unbelievable, and he doesn't deserve that. This is the type of country we live in, and it's definitely not fair. Last thing is, there has been little or no effect on increasing unemployment when the minimum wage rises. Now, what this means is definitely there's no more or less unemployment, because there's more unemployment because the people aren't getting the rate of pay that they want, and they can't provide for themselves. And when you're not happy with the rate of pay that you get, you're gonna end up getting frustrated, and you're gonna end up quitting your job, and then it all goes down south. And lastly, what I want to show you guys is just the debate on, like, for example, like minimum wage. Workers want a minimum wage as a means to increase wage levels to provide sufficient purchasing power and enable a worker to have a basic standard of living. Now, what that means is people are fighting to have a stable living environment, right? They need to, like I said, be able to have a home to sleep in, provide for themselves food, water, everything. And it's kind of sad that they can't do that because they don't have the right rate of pay. And I feel like that's kind of sad, and I feel like that needs to be changed quick. And this is why I'm trying to persuade you guys to convince the people of the country to up the rate of pay, and then everyone can be equal and live a happy life. Thank you guys.